After my girlfriend washed off our couple's tattoo, my memory of winning her over disappeared. A young male model from my girlfriend's company sent me a video. In the video, Yakinjian was washing off the tattoo of my name on her chest. The pain made tears stream down her face. Maybe we shouldn't wash it off, the young model asked with a smirk. Yakinjian shook her head, her tone resolute. No matter how painful, it has to be washed off. I can't let you guys misunderstand that I'm tied to Liu Yan for life. I'm still young. I have to try more men. I smiled and replied, then I wish her success. What Yakinjian didn't know was that I was a conqueror from another world. After my mission to win her over was complete, in order to stay by her side, the system sealed my memories of the conquest within the tattoo on her chest. Now that she had washed off the tattoo, in 72 hours, I would completely forget her. When Yakinjian came back, I was chatting with a buyer on a second-hand website. She leaned in from behind, wrapping her arms around my neck, her lips blowing softly by my ear. Yan, what are you looking at so intently? Then, seeing the transaction information on the page, she asked, did you sell something? Sensing her suspicion, I turned off my phone and said lightly, just some unimportant things. Hearing this, she didn't press further, just stood up and stretched. Oh, right, honey, make something light for dinner tonight. Absolutely no chili peppers. I feigned ignorance and asked her why. Don't you love spicy food? Yakinjian quickly glanced at her heavily covered chest and lied without batting an eye. My stomach has been upset these past few days. I need to eat something light to soothe it. I looked at her but didn't expose her lie. Alright. That night, I made her salted vegetable porridge, the same dish we used to eat most often when we were at our poorest, made with wild vegetables from the fields. Back then, Yakinjian would eat with a face full of happiness, saying, Yan, you can even make wild vegetables taste this good. I could eat this for a lifetime and never get tired of it. What bitter meal. It was clearly sweet. Life was hard back then, but we were truly sweet. But now Yakinjian poked the hot porridge with her chopsticks twice, a look of disdain on her face. Our standard of living is much higher now. Why are you still making this wild vegetable stuff? The past is the past. Who are you trying to disgust by making this now? After speaking, Yakinjian grabbed her coat from the sofa and went out. I'm going out to eat. The moment the door closed, I looked at the wild vegetables in my bowl and gave a bitter smile. People always say many can endure hardship together, but few can share prosperity. I didn't believe it then, but now I have to. Yakinjian had changed. I summoned the system and told it I wanted to leave. The system, with an I knew it expression, said, I'll take you away in 3 days. 3 days is enough. I would use these 3 days wisely to reconstruct our 13 years of memories, piece by piece, and then forget her forever. I was a conqueror from another world. Yakinjian was the female side character in the story who was destined for a tragic end. To save her, I took her out of an orphanage. As a teenager, I washed dishes in a restaurant to support her. Back then I earned 30 cents per dish. I had to wash 200 dishes a day, working from morning till night, earning only 60 yuan a day. 50 yuan was for her school fees, and 10 yuan was our living expense for two. Sometimes the boss would let me take home leftovers. When business was slow, I could only go to the fields to dig for wild vegetables. At that time, wild vegetables were the most common dish on our table. I finally managed to support her until she got into university. I then used my points and the precognitive skills I exchanged from the system to let Yakinjian seize the opportunity to acquire ceramic pots. The following year, ceramic cakes became a massive hit, and Yakinjian made a fortune. With the startup capital, and under my advice, Yakinjian started a management agency, signing models and artists. Years passed in a flash, and she established a firm footing in the fashion circle. At various galas and banquets, everyone respectfully called her President Yai. I remembered when she became successful, she organized a personal fireworks show for me. Our names were displayed on the tallest building in the city. Thousands of drones formed the words love and eternity, with our initials below. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes shimmering like spring water, filled completely with me. She threw herself into my arms, her voice husky. Yan, without you, I wouldn't be who I am today. Please, never leave me, okay? I held her tight, as if trying to merge her into my very bones. I won't leave you. Yan, I love you. We kissed under the gaze of thousands, with the envy and blessings of the entire city. It was also then that I gave up on returning to my original world. The system had earnestly tried to persuade me, from what I know, conquerors who choose to stay never have a good ending. But I believed in Yakinjian. She loved me. The look in her eyes couldn't be fate. When Yakinjian learned of my decision, she hugged me tightly and solemnly promised, Yan, I won't let you lose. But in reality, in the second year after I gave up on returning, I already sensed that Yakinjian had changed. At that time, her company had just signed a new batch of male models. Normally, new signees would be assigned to managers under her. But Yan Yan was different. He was personally supervised by the boss, working by Ye Qingjian's side from his very first day. A man's intuition told me I could see the ambition in Yan Yan's eyes, and I knew he wouldn't be content just being a minor model. I tried to talk to Ye Qingjian about it. But she said, Yan Yan is a kid with limitless potential. I plan to send him to the international stage. I don't trust anyone else to handle him. Don't worry, I'm really just thinking about the company. Don't overthink it. I'd only love you. We've been together for 10 years, don't you trust me? Of course I trusted her. That's why I was so humiliated by Yan Yan today, making me realize how ridiculous our past vows were. But it would be over soon. Soon, I would forget her. Forget you, forget all our sweet memories. My phone pinged. It was a message from the buyer on the second, and site, I want to buy the ring. Can you guarantee it's authentic? The other party was still worried. I sent him the appraisal certificate and told him he could pay upon delivery. Only then did he feel at ease. From what I know, the jade on the ring was bought by President Ye at an auction for 5 million. Later, a foreign designer was specially hired to design a pair of rings with it. You're selling something worth millions for tens of thousands. Is the origin legitimate? The reason he could so easily state the ring's origin was all thanks to Ye Qingjian's meticulous sharing of her life back then. Typically, for such high-value auction items, the boss would send an assistant to handle things and would intentionally hide their identity when contacting the buyer. But Ye Qingjian was different. To show her love for me, the day she bought the jade, she widely publicized that it was for me. Later, when it was designed into rings, she even posted a picture of us holding hands, saying she would have no one but me in this life. Everyone said I must have been incredibly lucky in my past life to meet a woman who loved me so much in this one, telling me to cherish Ye Qingjian and never leave her. Ye Qingjian replied in the comments section of that post, "It's me who can't leave him." Because of this, everyone said I had a way with women, that the famous President Ye was wrapped around my finger. But only I knew that happiness built on too many fancy words was actually fragile. A soap bubble is only brilliant under the sun. I replied to the buyer, "Don't worry, I'm not a scammer." The other party paid, and I scheduled the delivery for the next day. I looked at the time. It was already 12 am. Ye Qingjian hadn't called or messaged once. In the past, she never came home after 10 p.m. I told her she could hang out with friends and attend necessary social events, and I would wait for her in the car outside. But she would say, "Being all fake with those people is worse than staying home and talking with you." Don't worry. I said I'd be back before 10, and I will be. I'll never make you worry. But now, she didn't come back by 10. If I called to ask, she would get impatient, her tone full of blame. "I'm earning money. I'm working. You think I'm as idle as you, doing nothing at home all day? When did the great President Ye ever need a kept man like you to manage her? Know your place." Although it was drunken talk, it was the first time I glimpsed her true inner thoughts. That time, after realizing her slip of the tongue, she bought me many things to apologize, saying she didn't mean it, and that she never found me annoying. But she also never picked up any of my calls again. To date, I was also prepared for her not to answer. But unexpectedly, the call connected. A playful, teasing voice came from the other end. "Brother Yan, President Ye is drunk and won't go home. She's clinging to me. What should I do?" When I arrived at the private room, Ye Qingjian was already flushed from drinking, one hand inside Yan Yan's shirt, her eyes hazily fixed on him. "Yan Yan, don't go home tonight. Come with me." Yan Yan of course saw me. He deliberately cupped Ye Qingjian's face. "Sister, if I go home with you, won't your man get angry?" At the mention of me, Ye Qingjian pouted. "How can he compare to you? You're young, handsome, and capable. Sister is crazy about you. In a little while, I'll break up with him and be with you, okay? Okay. Then you have to announce to the whole city that you belong to me." Yan Yan pinched the soft flesh of Ye Qingjian's waist. Ye Qingjian let out a soft moan. "I promise you." Then, the two of them kissed passionately. Honestly, at this moment, I should have been furious, desperate, feeling the soul-crushing pain of ants gnawing at my bones. But all I felt was a numbness in my heart, and nothing more. It seemed the side effects of removing the tattoo were kicking in. Back then, the system sealed my love and memories for Ye Qingjian in the tattoo. Now that the tattoo was gone, my memories were beginning to fade and weaken. I could watch the woman I once loved kiss another man, then silently help her into the car. Yan Yan, seeing this, crossed his arms and mocked me. "President Ye doesn't like you anymore. Why are you still clinging to her? If I were you, I'd break up with her properly. You might even get a handsome breakup fee. A woman's heart can't be tied down. Once she's tasted something fresh outside, she'll never forget it. Oh, and one more thing. Do you know where President Ye tattooed my name after erasing yours? Yan didn't say it outright. He knew I would check. So, as I was taking off Yakinjian's clothes to change her into Potamus, I saw the heart and the letters die on her inner thigh. An overwhelming sense of absurdity washed over me. I still remembered her saying she tattooed my name on her chest because she held me in her heart. So now, what did the tattoo on her inner thigh signify? I didn't dare to think too deeply. I just settled her in the master bedroom. I spent a sleepless night in the guest room. The next morning, Yakinjian woke up from her hangover. Realizing she woke up in the bedroom and seen her clothes had been changed, her face turned pale. When she came out, she saw me just sending off a courier. She hesitated and asked, "Did you bring me back last night?" I nodded. Then, besides me, was there anyone else there? I looked up at her guilty expression and told her the truth. Yan was there too. Yakinjian's heart skipped a beat. She didn't know how I found her or what I had seen. She could only purse her lips and explain, "Last night, I went out for dinner and happened to run into him, so we ate together." "You're not angry, are you?" I continued tittying up. "It's just..." Yakinjian was stunned. "Just what?" "Since you've had the tattoo removed, you shouldn't drink to avoid infection." Yakinjian breathed a sigh of relief. "Actually, I only got the tattoo removed because it doesn't look good with strapless gowns. You know I'm dealing with people in politics now, and it wouldn't be good for them to see I have a tattoo. Don't overthink it." "I'm not overthinking." My voice was flat. Yakinjian got the answer she wanted, but couldn't feel happy about it. She felt my reaction was very off. She decided to act cute and coax me. "Okay, it was my fault yesterday. How about we go see a movie? Isn't the sequel to your favorite movie out? I'll go with you, okay?" It was kind of her to remember. He agreed. But just after the tickets were checked, I heard the ticket taker whisper, "Didn't President Ye just book the entire theater yesterday? Why is she here again today?" Then, upon seeing me, he immediately fell silent. He didn't need to say it. I knew who she came with yesterday. Inside the theater, watching the movie I had anticipated for 4 years, I felt nothing but boredom. It wasn't that the movie was bad, but the heart of the person who had watched it with me 4 years ago had already drifted away. In the dark cinema, only the screen of Yakinjian's phone beside me was bright. She was using a privacy screen protector, so I couldn't see what she was typing, but from her typing speed and the way she kept looking back, I understood. Yan had bought a ticket for the same show. Soon, Yakinjian told me she needed to go to the restroom. I nodded slowly, then watched as she walked out of the theater, followed by another man. I followed them. "Sister, you promised to go with me to meet the fashion editor today. How could you break your promise?" Yakinjian pinched his cheek. "Didn't I have to placate him first before I could go with you?" "Alright, don't be angry. I'll buy you a car later, okay? I'm not with you for that." Yakinjian understood. "I'll arrange a solo feature for you in the next quarter's magazine cover. I'll also prepare the brand's clothes for you." Only then was Yan satisfied. "To thank you, sister, I can only work harder in bed." As he spoke, Yan glanced back at me, then leaned in, and whispered something to Yakinjian. A flicker of light in Yakinjian's eyes, and she took out her phone and started typing. My phone vibrated. I saw the message Yakinjian had just sent. "Something came up at the company. I have to go." I replied, "Okay." Then I opened my notes app, and put a cross next to the movie item. A total of 10 tasks. This was the plan I set for myself for these 3 days. They were also the most unforgettable memories from our 13 years together. Now, there were 8 left. 60 hours remained until I would forget her. Yan sent me a provocative message. "President Ye is so easy to coax. I just said I'd buy a collar, and she came with me. You've been with her for so many years. Did you know she's actually a very wild woman? She always said you're too rigid and by the book, no fun at all." He even sent me a few risk photos. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent a message to Yakinjian, "Want to go camping tonight?" I knew she wouldn't reply, but I still sent a message for every item on my checklist. "Want to fly kites on the lawn together? Want to see a stand-up comedy show together? Want to go to the amusement park together? Want to watch fireworks together? Want to watch the sunset together?" All the messages went unanswered, like stones sinking into the sea. And the last item on the memo was, "Celebrate our 13th anniversary together." Then hours remained until I would leave her. That day, I cooked a huge feast, ordered a 3-tiered cake, and a bouquet of lilies of the valley. With everything prepared, there were 5 hours left until I would leave. I called her and asked if she could come home early today. She readily agreed, saying she was on her way to buy me a gift. "It's our anniversary today, I won't forget." But an hour passed, then 2 hours. When there was an hour and a half left until midnight, Yan sent me a message. It was a picture of a one-of-a-kind ring that Ye Qingyan had just bought for him. Brother Yan, President Ye insisted on giving this to me. Should I accept it or not? She said it's a gift for our 4th anniversary. Oh right, isn't today your 13th anniversary with President Ye? Let me tell you, after 13 years without a proper title, you shouldn't expect her to marry you. Just leave already. I made one last call to Ye Qingyan. She didn't answer. Then, I sent a document to the promotions department I knew and the person in charge of the building where Ye Qingyan had made her grand confession, telling them to display it at 8 a.m. the next day. Since Yan Yan wanted a grand, public announcement of his relationship with Ye Qingyan, I would grant his wish. The cost was exactly 50,000 yuan from selling the ring. They sent one final message to Ye Qingyan. Let's break up. The 72-hour countdown ended. All my memories of Ye Qingyan were instantly wiped clean, reset to 0. Without waiting for her reply, I threw my phone from the building as far as I could. With that, I said goodbye to everything here. I returned to my original world. Everything in the other world felt like a dream I could no longer recall. I started living a normal life. Meanwhile, Ye Qingyan felt a tightness in her chest, a deep discomfort. She rubbed it a few times and found that the spot where she'd removed the tattoo was red and painful to the touch. It was already past midnight. The anniversary had been missed. She had planned to go home right after buying the gift, but Yan Yan was having dinner with a brand representative and got harassed. As the man she had touched, she naturally couldn't let others lay a hand on her person. She thought just picking him up would be enough. But she never expected Yan Yan to take her back to his place. Somehow, they ended up kissing and falling into bed. After fooling around for a few hours, she looked at Yan Yan's phone. It was 12:30 am. She didn't know what had gotten into Liu Yan these past 2 days, always asking her if she wanted to go out and play. She found it annoying, and had set his messages to do not disturb. But annoying as it was, the 13th anniversary still had to be celebrated. She got dressed, ready to leave. Yan Yan hugged her waist, not letting her go. The anniversary has passed anyway. Just rest here. It's the same if you go back tomorrow morning. Don't worry, Brother Yan won't be angry. If it were the past, Ye Qingyan might have actually stayed. But today, she was determined to go back. On the drive home, she used her voice assistant to call Liu Yan. After several attempts, he didn't pick up. She floored the gas pedal, rushing home at top speed. The first thing she saw was a table full of her favorite dishes, a large cake, and a bucket of her favorite lilies of the valley. She sniffed the flowers, they were still fresh. The food was still warm. Liu Yan must have gone upstairs to sleep after waiting for her. At this thought, she sighed in relief. As long as Liu Yan was still willing to prepare surprises for her, it meant he still loved her. And as long as he loved her, she could find a way to smooth this over. She placed the watch she bought on the dining table and went upstairs to call Liu Yan. But she searched every room, and Liu Yan was nowhere to be found. She was puzzled but also secretly pleased. If Liu Yan wasn't here, then she wasn't the one who stood him up on their anniversary. She had it all figured out. No matter when Liu Yan returned, she could say she had come back and waited for him for a long time, and make him apologize to her. But Liu Yan didn't come back the entire night. The next morning, she was woken up by a call from her assistant. President Ye, quick, look at the news. Something big has happened. Ye Qingyan was very grumpy when woken up. She cursed at her assistant, and then opened the trending topics. Number 1, He Corporation's President Ye involved with her own male model. The century's confession of love becomes a joke. Just seeing the headline made Ye Qingyan's face turn deathly pale. Her hands trembled as she finished reading the news. She immediately messaged her assistant, telling the department to handle it urgently, not to let a single detail leak. The assistant replied, the major platforms and promotions department have already taken it down, but many people still saw it. President Ye, you should come to the company right away. Ye Qingyan got dressed, ready to rush to the company, when it suddenly hit her that Liu Yan hadn't been home all night. She wondered if he had seen the news. Although she had been playing around outside, it was just for a fleeting sense of novelty. Once she was done playing, she would still spend the rest of her life with Liu Yan. She set off for the company, calling Liu Yan several times, but still, no one answered. She could only use her voice assistant to open her chat history with Liu Yan, planning to tell him not to go anywhere and not to accept any interviews, that it was all a setup by others. But when she opened the chat window, she saw the message Liu Yan had sent her last night, let's break up. The time stamp was 11:59 last night, which meant Liu Yan had waited at home for her until the very last minute. She panicked and tried calling Liu Yan with her voice again. It still showed unable to connect. Her assistant called again, saying the company was surrounded by reporters. Yan Yan was trapped in his car, and couldn't get out. Meanwhile, other models in the company, long dissatisfied with Ye Qingyan's favoritism towards Yan Yan, began to anonymously leak information. With everything piling up, Ye Qingyan's head throbbed. In a moment of carelessness, she crashed into a guardrail, her forehead hitting the glass. She was hospitalized. The reporters soon found out and swarmed the hospital, disrupting its normal operations. Under pressure, Yakinjian had to face the press with a fresh bandage on her head. But she repeated the same thing over and over. This is purely a rumor. I will issue a lawyer's letter to make the rumormongers face the consequences they deserve. A reporter immediately asked, President Ye, since you say it's a rumor, could you ask Mr. Liu Yan to come forward and clarify? Yakinjian frowned. Looking at the reporter, Liu Yan is not in the entertainment industry. He will not appear. As far as I know, the reason President Ye has achieved so much today is entirely due to Mr. Liu's support back then. In the early days of the agency, it was Mr. Liu's sharp eye that brought in your company's current top model, the reporter pressed on. So to say Mr. Liu is an outsider isn't quite right, is it? Others chimed in. That's right, President Ye. Are you afraid to let Mr. Liu come forward? Is it because Mr. Liu was also kept in the dark about this? Don't you feel you owe him an explanation? Was the grand confession of love back then just a joke? The wound on Yakinjian's head started to itch again. She hurriedly at her bodyguards usher the people away. Afterward, she went home. Liu Yan still wasn't back. His phone was still unreachable. For some reason, at that moment, she could understand how Liu Yan felt when she wouldn't answer his calls. But she firmly believed Liu Yan wouldn't truly ignore her. They had been together for 13 years, and he had even given up returning to his own world for her. As long as she explained things properly, and weathered the storm, she would stop fooling around, and live a good life with him. But with each unanswered call, Yakinjian grew more and more frustrated, eventually shouting curses. Finally, the maid brought her a phone. President Ye, this phone has been ringing nonstop. I think it might be Mr. Liu's. Yakinjian took the phone. It was indeed Liu Yan's. But why was it in the backyard? She used her own birthday to unlock it, and it opened easily. For all these years, Liu Yan had used her birthday as his password, never changing it. In contrast, she couldn't remember when her password stopped being his birthday. She even had a backup phone to hide things from him. The phone screen was clean, nothing extra. She opened WeChat and saw her own name. The last message was from herself yesterday, which she never replied to. To find more information, she went through every app and finally found a clue in the memo pad. She discovered a checklist. The items on it were the same as the messages Liu Yan had sent her a few days ago, all small things. Next to each item, he had drawn a cross in the checkbox. At first, she didn't understand what it meant, until the 10th item, celebrate our 13th anniversary together. It dawned on her. She remembered. Not long after they got together, they had set a goal to do 100 little things that couples should do. But later she got too busy, so Liu Yan shortened it to 10 things a year. This year was supposed to be the last one. No wonder Liu Yan had been sending her those things recently. Every year, Liu Yan would arrange everything. Even though she wasn't thrilled, she would still do them with him. So was he angry because she didn't do them with him this year? If that was all it was, she still had a chance to fix things. The year wasn't over yet. She still had a chance. But the straw that breaks the camel's back is never just one. Just then, a WeChat notification popped up. Yakinjian opened it. It was from an unknown account. The person sent a message. Brother Yan, my affair with President Ye is all over the news now. If you have any self-respect, you should leave sooner rather than later. Don't just occupy the position and do nothing. You don't know, do you? President Ye just told me she's going to use this opportunity to announce that we're together. You old man, she stopped loving you a long time ago. Yakinjian continued scrolling up through the chat history. The more she read, the more terrified she became. She thought she had hidden it so well, but from the very first step she took out of line, Liu Yan had known. Her heart pounded violently. The wound on her chest throbbed with a dull pain. She tore open her clothes and saw that the wound was now covered in dense white spots, making it hard for her to breathe. Perhaps seeing no response from Liu Yan, the person on the other end grew impatient and called directly. Liu Yan, I call you brother out of respect. But now President Ye is mine. I'm telling you to get lost, do you hear me? Oh right, yesterday was your 13th anniversary, wasn't it? I deliberately tricked President Ye by saying I was drunk, and she immediately ditched you to come find me. Do you know how many positions we tried last night, how many condoms we used? Before Yan Yan could finish, Yakinjian cut him off with a shout. Yan Yan, that's enough. Who allowed you to cause trouble in front of Yan? Who allowed you to say these things? Hearing Yakinjian's voice, Yan Yan panicked. He never expected that even at this point, Liu Yan would still be with Yakinjian. But since he'd already said so much, Yan Yan had nothing to fear. Sister, you were the one who said you'd find a chance to break up with him and be with me. Isn't this the perfect opportunity? Just say you broke up with Liu Yan a long time ago and got together with me, and all the problems will be solved. But Ye Qingjian told him bluntly, I can never be with you. The only person I will ever marry is Liu Yan. How is that possible? Sister, that's not what you said before. You promised me. Ye Qingjian was a different person once she got what she wanted. How can you believe words spoken when trumped? Not only that, Ye Qingjian also threatened Yan Yan. And you are the one who caused all of this. You go and explain that you orchestrated the whole thing, that the photos were taken after you drugged me. If you do that, I can still give you some money and send you abroad to live a good life. If you don't obey, I can make sure you have no future in this country. No agency will dare to sign you. Hearing Ye Qingjian's heartless words, Yan Yan seemed to finally understand her ruthlessness. Fine. As you wish. Hearing that Yan Yan agreed to her terms, she breathed a sigh of relief. Now, all she had to do was find Liu Yan, and explain everything to him properly. But she sent many people to look for him, and they all came back empty-handed. His belongings were still in the villa and all his personal information was searchable, yet he himself seemed to have vanished into thin air. Vanished into thin air. Ye Qingjian remembered something. She recalled that when she was about to tattoo Liu Yan's name on her chest, he had told her, I am sealing my memory of you into your tattoo. If you ever stop loving me, just wash it off, and I will forget you forever and leave you. At the time, she thought he was joking and said she would never wash off the tattoo, but she would love him forever. It seemed that all the strangeness started after she removed the tattoo. So what Liu Yan said back then wasn't a joke after all. Just then, Liu Yan's phone rang again. It was from the second-hand platform. Ye Qingjian remembered Liu Yan had sold something before, but she hadn't paid it any mind. Now, seeing the transaction page, she realized Liu Yan had sold the engagement ring she had given him, for only 50,000 in yuan. Ye Qingjian's hands trembled as she opened the chat with the buyer. Without even looking at the reply, she typed, name your price for the ring. I want to buy it back. The buyer, who had just been praising Liu Yan for being a conscientious seller, was instantly displeased. He asked if Ye Qingjian had a problem, that they had agreed on a fair trade, and now she wanted to buy it back. What was the meaning of this? Ye Qingjian didn't care. She said directly, I am Ye Qingjian. The ring was sold by my boyfriend. I want to buy it back. The buyer had a revelation. So you're Ye Qingjian, the one whose cheating scandal has been all over the news. No wonder your Fank sold the ring. Someone like you doesn't deserve it. Now that you've revealed your identity, I'm even less inclined to give you the ring. To be honest, I'm not short on money. I was only interested in this ring because of its meaning of unwavering loyalty. But looking at you now, I'd rather throw the ring away than give it to you. The buyer exited the chat. Ye Qingjian immediately told her assistant to track the person down by their ID, but the assistant told her to watch a live stream first. Yan Yan had started a live stream 3 minutes ago, with the title clarifying the rumors. Ye Qingjian told her assistant not to worry, that Yan Yan was just taking the blame, that they had already agreed on a price. As soon as she said that, she heard Yan Yan speak. The news online is all true. I am indeed in a relationship with the boss of Lanya Agency, Ye Qingjian. But she forced me into all of it. If I didn't please her, she would blacklist me in the industry. I'm just an ordinary person with no background, and I was scared by her threats, so I succumbed to being her other man. Now that things are exposed, Ye Qingjian is threatening me to take all the blame, or else she'll make it impossible for me to survive in this city. I'm really scared. I hope the netizens can help me. Otherwise, I'm afraid I might just disappear into thin air one day. The last 4 words triggered Ye Qingjian. She furiously typed insults at Yan Yan, asking him why he broke his promise, why he was spouting nonsense online, why he was slandering her. It was clearly him who had seduced her first. But no one would believe her. The models in her company resigned one after another. Even facing tens of millions in breach of contract fees, they were not afraid. The company is about to go bankrupt. Why should we stay? A fickle woman like you deserves this. He had such a good fight and you threw him away to cheat. You deserve to be abandoned now that your empire is crumbling. Lanya's stock plummeted. The company was boycotted by the entire internet. Without Liu Yan, she didn't even have the ability to bring the company back from the brink of death. At this moment, she thought of the tattoo again. If removing the tattoo would make Liu Yan forget her, then if she tattooed it back on, would Liu Yan come back? Without a second thought, she rushed to a tattoo parlor, exposed her festering chest, and asked the tattoo artist to tattoo Liu Yan's name in the original spot. The tattoo artist saw the ghastly state of her chest, and shook his head. This is already infected. You should wait until the wound heals. Ye Qingjian didn't care. The sooner it's back to how it was, the sooner Liu Yan will come back. She held a knife to her own throat. If you don't tattoo it, I'll die in your shop. Forced, the artist had to do it. Getting a tattoo is painful enough, but on an open wound, the ink mixed with blood flowed over both of them. The artist felt nauseous just looking at it, but Ye Qingjian's face was full of hope. As long as Liu Yan's name was on her, he would come back. A few hours later, the name, covered in blood, appeared. Ye Qingjian looked at the tattoo in the mirror and smiled with pale lips. Yan, the tattoo is back. He should come back soon, too. Ye Qingjian stumbled out like a ghost, the front of her shirt soaked in blood. The scene was terrifying, but her lips were curved into a smile as she mumbled something. The tattoo artist called the police. He was genuinely scared something would happen. But Ye Qingjian, after being taken to the hospital by the police, slipped away when they weren't looking. She went home, afraid Liu Yan would come back and not find her. A day passed, then a week. Liu Yan never appeared. She smashed everything in the house over and over until she thought of Yan again. It must be him. It must be because of him that Yan didn't come back. On a dark and windy night, she snuck into Yan's house. She held a knife to the sleeping Yan, feeling a coldness at his neck. Yan opened his eyes to see Ye Qingjian staring at him like a madwoman. He screamed in terror and tried to escape, but the crazed Ye Qingjian gave him no chance. She stabbed the knife into his abdomen, then again and again, into every part of his body. Yan died in a pool of his own blood, his eyes wide open. Ye Qingjian walked back to her own house and began to murmur, "Yan, everything is back to how it was. There won't be a third person anymore. Please come back, okay?" But in the end, it wasn't Liu Yan she waited for, but the police. Ye Qingjian had made no attempt to clean up the murder scene from the previous night. A quick check of the surveillance footage showed that only Ye Qingjian had entered Yan's house. The evidence was conclusive. Ye Qingjian was handcuffed, but she struggled like a madwoman, refusing to go. "If I leave, Yan won't be able to find me. I'm not going. She pushed past the police and tried to escape through the window, forgetting she was on the third floor. The moment she jumped, her right leg was severely fractured. Compounded by the septic infection from her tattoo, she passed out immediately. I saw the system again 3 months later. It brought me news that Ye Qingjian had died. The infection on her chest was severe, but she refused treatment from the doctors, saying, "If the wound heals, you won't come back." As a result, the wound festered. She contracted a virus and died in agony. I listened without any expression. After all, I had already forgotten all our grievances and affections. To me, the person named Ye Qingjian was just a stranger. The system said again, "I have another mission here. If you complete it successfully, I can heal your leg." I shook my head. "No, thank you." It was to heal my legs that I chose to save Ye Qingjian in the first place. But the outcome was not a happy one. Although the love had been erased, the pain from that time was real. I didn't want to go through it a second time. I'm living a good life now. I've opened a bookstore, and every day, children from the neighborhood come to chat with me and make me happy. I am very content with my current life. Seeing that my mind was made up, the system didn't try to persuade me further. It only said, "I wish you well." I smiled and replied, "I will be."